The series begins with the joy of a girl named Conchita. Her friend Nan is happy for her, but her parents are worried because the groom, Richard, hasn't arrived yet. When Nan goes to see Conchita, she finds her also anxious, refusing to wear her dress until Richard arrives. Nan discovers that Conchita is pregnant and hasn't told Richard, not wanting to force him into marriage. Conchita is very worried about this, feeling she has ruined her life. Conchita keeps looking out the window for Richard, but accidentally drops her earring. Nan decides to go down from the balcony to retrieve it. Nan meets a man who seems interested in her, but she is indifferent. Suddenly, Richard arrives, and Conchita is overjoyed. She goes to get ready and wear her dress, but Richard calls Nan and asks her to give Conchita a letter and apologize on his behalf. It is revealed that Richard is an English lord, and his family does not approve of him marrying an American girl because they are newly rich and unaware of etiquette. However, Nan talks to Richard, convinces him of his love for Conchita, and reminds him that he always found her enchanting and attractive. Richard is persuaded by Nan, tears up the letter, thanks her for her help, and asks her to tell Conchita he loves her. He goes to attend the party and marries Conchita. Then Conchita descends with her 4 bridesmaids, Jenny, Lizzie, Maybelle, and Nan. Conchita is very happy, and the marriage takes place. Later, Nan meets the same man she saw when jumping from the balcony, but this time there seems to be a connection between them. He manages to catch Nan's attention, and when he confirms it, he asks to meet her outside. When Nan comes out, he tells her he has to return to England because his mother is ill and dying. He leaves Nan, wishing she would come with him. Nan tells him her full name, but he refuses to tell her his and leaves. Nan is very puzzled by his behavior. During the party, Nan's mother, Patty, tries to take advantage of the situation. She asks one of the wealthy guests to attend her and her daughter's dance party, but the woman treats her with disdain because her husband only became rich 5 years ago. When Richard sees this, he invites Patty, her daughters, and all of Conchita's bridesmaids to the prestigious dance held in England every year in front of the Queen. Patty is shocked, but immediately accepts, feeling she has regained her dignity. In England, we see the Queen convincing her son, Theo, to get involved with a girl named Jane. However, Theo is not interested and tells his mother that he will not get involved with someone who is only interested in him because he is a duke. After a few months, Nan arrives in England with her mother, Patty, and the other girls. They are very happy and amazed by everything they see. Patty dreams of her daughter, Jenny, getting involved with a wealthy Englishman. Lizzie's mother has the same dream. We understand that there is a competition between Jenny and Lizzie due to their parents' comparisons. At the palace, Richard's mother is sitting with her brother James. She tells him he must become wealthy and marry a rich woman. She suggests that he marry one of Conchita's bridesmaids to improve his circumstances, despite describing American girls as despicable and outcasts. Meanwhile, Conchita is eagerly waiting for her friends and appears unhappy in her marriage. As soon as Conchita sees her friends, she cannot control herself and runs to greet them, dancing with joy. At the same time, Richard's family watches them and looks down on their behavior. Conchita then takes her friends into the palace and tells them about the Queen's dance party. She says that all the girls dream of attending this party and seeing the Duke who never actually shows up. Conchita is annoyed by English customs, which she finds outdated. When Nan hears this, she feels that something is wrong with Conchita. She asks her what is happening, and Conchita, upset, replies that the palace is full of snakes, referring to Richard's family. During dinner, the situation is very tense between Richard's conservative family and Conchita's liberated friends. Conchita tries to ease the tension, but it worsens when Lizzie tries to attract James's attention, who is more interested in Jenny. It also becomes apparent that Nan is cultured, unlike her sister Jenny, who relies solely on her beauty. After dinner, the 5 friends gather and are happy to be together again. Conchita then gets up to show them the dress she will wear to the party, but she encounters Richard. He blames her and her friends for their behavior, reminding her that they are not in America and that no one in London behaves like her. He asks her to be obedient and informs her that he has to travel and leave her. Conchita is upset because he and his family look down on her, and since their marriage, they have never spent time together. He is also not going to attend the party with her, and she leaves him and walks away. Nan overhears their conversation and talks to Richard, reminding him that Conchita is the enchanting lover he chose. However, Richard says he knew this would happen, that she wouldn't fit in England, and he can't keep up with her behavior because his family is watching. He also leaves. Elsewhere, we see the man Nan met at Conchita's wedding. We learn that he is Theo's friend, named Jay, and that Jay has many debts. We see his father instructing him to attend the Queen's dance party and choose a wealthy American woman to help him settle his debts. The next day, the awaited day arrives. Nan is preparing Jenny for the Queen's dance party. Jenny is nervous, but Nan encourages her. Nan notices that Conchita is not well and talks to her. Conchita fears that Richard's family will despise despise her child as they despise her, but Nan reassures her and promises to be there when she gives birth. At night, at the party, all the girls stand nervously, dressed alike, as if in a competition. They descend the stairs to present themselves to the men, each with a number. The men, waiting at the bottom of the stairs, write down the number of the girl they want to dance with. Among the girls are Jenny and Lizzie, and among the men is James, Richard's brother. When Nan sees what is happening, she is upset and can't continue and walks away. However, she overhears a guest describing them as bold and vulgar, distinguished only by their money, and another guest calling them donkeys. Nan gets upset, goes to them, and tells them off, saying they are humans and not interested in their opinions of them. By chance, Theo sees her and seems impressed by her. Then Nan meets Jay again. She doesn't recognize him at first, but he reminds her that he met her at Conchita's wedding. Nan remembers him and says that what is happening at the party makes women seem like cattle. Jay thinks her words are a bit harsh. Nan asks about his mother and understands from his silence that she has died. They decide to spend the party together. We return to the party where James chooses Jenny and Lizzie. He dances first with Jenny while Lizzie sits waiting for her turn, feeling annoyed. At the same time, Nan is standing with Jay, watching from above. Nan has taken off her shoes because her feet hurt and is standing without them. Accidentally, Nan drops her shoe onto the cake brought for the party, causing her and Jay to hide. However, Jenny knows that Nan caused the incident, drawing attention to her for the second time at the party. Afterward, Nan goes to retrieve her shoe and stands talking and laughing with Jay. Jenny tells their mother, who scolds Nan for drawing attention to herself. Jenny doesn't stop there. She confronts Nan, blaming her for always attracting attention. She reveals that their mother always takes Nan's side, despite Nan not being her biological daughter. Jenny tells Nan that she is the daughter of one of their father's mistresses, and their mother took her in and raised her. Jenny had found a letter in their father's room from his mistress, cursing him. When Jenny sees their mother, Patty, approaching, she pleads with Nan not to reveal the secret. However, Patty comes for another reason, to ask Nan to go with their governess, Test Valley, and stay away from the palace completely, as she is drawing attention and might prevent Jenny from getting married. Test Valley tells Nan she will take her to a palace by the sea. The next day, Nan leaves Conchita's palace without even saying goodbye, feeling sad because she promised to be there for Conchita's childbirth. Meanwhile, Theo's mother sits with him, scolding him for his behavior. She convinces him again to get involved with Jane, telling him she waited all party for him to dance with her. However, Theo reiterates that he will only get involved with someone who doesn't know he is a duke. At the same time, Jay's father talks to him about his plan to marry a wealthy American. Jay tells him the plan is going well, exciting his father, who brings his mother's ring to present to the girl Jay has chosen, which is Nan. Conchita gives birth with no one beside her, and Richard's mother mocks her for the pain she is in during childbirth, saying she is noisy and that London girls don't make such a fuss when giving birth. Shortly after, Nan arrives at the palace. The first thing she does is take off her clothes and go swimming. By chance, she finds Theo behind her. Nan doesn't know he is a duke, and he introduces himself as a painter. They talk for a while, and Theo is happy to find a girl he can talk to freely without his title restricting him. He suggests they meet again, but Nan says she will return to her home in New York, bids him farewell, and leaves. After a month, Nan leaves the palace by the sea and is on her way to a house rented by Conchita for them to spend the weekend. The governess, Test Valley, senses something is wrong with Nan, as she refuses to respond to any messages from Jenny. However, Nan doesn't tell her anything. At the house, Conchita and all the girls are enjoying themselves, except for Honoria, Richard and James's sister, who is used to being conservative even when away from her family. Conchita deliberately shows off her freedom in front of Honoria to make her feel abnormal and as if she is missing out on a lot. Conchita believes Honoria looks down on her. When Nan arrives, the girls rush to greet her, but it's evident that Nan is avoiding Jenny. Nan tries to talk to Conchita to tell her about Jenny's words and to explain why she left Conchita alone during childbirth. However, Conchita isn't ready to listen to anything and refuses to talk privately. The girls gather and tell Nan what she missed while she was at the palace. Nan learns that Jenny danced with James 3 or 4 times, and Lizzie danced with him once. Suddenly, Richard, James, and their friends arrive, pretending it's a coincidence. Conchita invites them to spend the vacation with them, and they all go swimming in the sea. Honoria watches them, unable to join in. Jenny tries to find any opportunity to talk and apologize to Nan for what she said, asking her to forget and not tell anyone. Nan is shocked that they have been lying to her all this time and cries. She leaves Jenny and goes to talk to Conchita, but again, Conchita refuses to listen to anything. Conchita is only concerned with herself and her problems, planning to restore her relationship with Richard and make him remember the days they spent together in America without anyone watching or judging them. She asks Nan to help her, and Nan agrees. During the party, Conchita is determined to attract Richard's attention and drive him as crazy as she is. Lizzie also has a plan to draw James's attention and steal him from Jenny. James helps her with this by treating Jenny with contempt and preferring Lizzie over her, going to dance with her. The only one who finds it difficult to adapt is Nan, so she leaves them and goes to the garden. At the same time, Jay arrives after Conchita persuaded him to join them on their vacation to get closer to Nan. While Conchita succeeds in bringing Richard closer to her again, Jenny is jealous of James and Lizzie. James is planning something unknown to everyone, and Jay is trying his hardest to get closer to Nan, who seems calmer than usual. Conchita then suggests everyone play a game of hide and seek, choosing Maybelle to hide first. They all search for her, and Lizzie takes advantage of the game by asking James to search for Maybelle together. However, James takes Lizzie into a room, treats her strangely, and asks her to take off her dress. Lizzie is scared and hesitant, but he insists, so she obeys. Meanwhile, Honoria finds Maybelle and hides with her. Maybelle asks if Honoria truly despises Conchita, but Honoria explains that the issue is that she and Conchita can't accept and understand each other. She says Conchita can't imagine someone enjoying peace and solitude. Maybelle changes the subject to the competition between Lizzie and Jenny over James, making Honoria tense. She says James is terrible, but Maybelle doesn't fully understand her meaning and thinks he is just mysterious. Nan gets closer to Jay and trusts him, as he is the only one who realizes she has changed and listens to her. She decides to tell him that Patty is not her mother and that she is the illegitimate daughter of one of her father's mistresses. Nan expects Jay to understand and comfort her, but he gets scared, leaves her, and walks away. After this, Nan decides not to tell anyone else about her true identity to avoid being treated as an outcast. She informs Jenny of her decision, and Jenny encourages her. Shortly after, James leaves Lizzie's room and tells her not to move until he says so, then leaves her. After a long while, his assistant informs Lizzie that James has gone to sleep and will see her at breakfast. Lizzie feels very cheap and realizes that James played with her. The next day, Conchita wakes up but doesn't find Richard beside her. When she goes down for breakfast, she sees him in the garden talking to Test Valley about her. He tells Test Valley that Conchita can't adapt to London's customs, that there are women and there are wives, and that Conchita can't learn to be an obedient wife. He feels he always has to apologize to his family because of her. Conchita can't stand to hear more and goes back to her room. Richard continues talking to Test Valley, saying that despite everything he said about Conchita, he adores her and can't stay away from her. Conchita doesn't hear these last two sentences. Nan enters her room and finds her crying. Conchita expresses her desire for Richard to love her, not pity her. Nan tries to tell her what Jenny told her, but Conchita doesn't give her a chance and changes the subject to a new plane to get Richard closer to her. She advises Nan to choose a partner who doesn't want her to change her nature in front of people. Nan says she wants someone she can talk to, who listens and understands her, and with whom she can be honest. Conchita laughs and comments that Nan's ambitions are high. At the same time, Lizzie goes to tell Jenny what happened with her, wanting to warn her about James. However, Jenny refuses to listen and is very annoyed with her, so Lizzie stays silent. Then, James goes to Jenny, asks her to marry him, kneels, and shows her the ring. Jenny can't believe what's happening, agrees, and is very happy. She goes to celebrate with her friends. James can't miss an opportunity to dampen Jenny's happiness and takes her aside, telling her he is glad she came to her senses after the nonsense and foolishness she was doing. They all go swimming in the sea. Lizzie wants to tell Jenny about James's true nature, but Jenny asks her to be happy for her and not spoil her joy, so Lizzie remains silent. Meanwhile, Nan accidentally meets Theo, who tells her he came specifically to see her. Nan is delighted. One of the assistants informs Conchita and the others that Duke Theo is at their house. They are shocked and rush to meet him, but they see him proposing to Nan. Jay arrives, having reconsidered his actions and wanting to meet Nan, but he withdraws in shock when he sees Theo proposing to Nan. All this happens while Nan still doesn't know that Theo is a duke. After a while, Nan goes to attend a party at Theo's palace, accompanied by Conchita and Maybelle. They are excited because Nan managed to attract a duke, but Nan swears to them she didn't know he was a duke. She is nervous and hesitant about marrying someone she doesn't know well, but Conchita tells her that getting to know each other will happen after marriage. At that time, we learn that Lizzie has decided to return to America without telling anyone the reason. When they arrive at the palace, Conchita starts her new plan of behaving like London women. As soon as the car reaches the palace, she acts calm and speaks little. Nan is greeted by Theo's mother's assistant, who tells her that Theo's mother wants to meet her and gives her a letter from Theo. As soon as Nan opens the letter, she runs to the sea and finds Theo waiting for her. They walk together, but Nan is upset with him for hiding that he is a duke. Theo explains that he invited her to the party so she could get to know all aspects of his personality and life before deciding whether to marry him or not. Nan is pleased and forgives him. Meanwhile, Conchita enters the palace with Richard and meets his family. Richard is surprised by Conchita's strange behavior, and his family is also puzzled but happy that Conchita has finally calmed down. Then, Theo and Nan return to the palace, where they meet Conchita and Maybelle, who have come down to greet Jenny and James. Jenny tells them she eloped and secretly married James. Nan is shocked, and Conchita and Maybelle congratulate her. James's family observes what's happening, and his mother is annoyed, expecting such behavior because she thinks American girls are promiscuous. Nan goes to talk to Jenny, but James comes out, treats her terribly, and slams the door in her face. Nan then meets with Theo's mother, who doesn't give her a chance to talk and interrupts her frequently. Despite this, Nan manages to make Theo's mother like her. Afterward, Nan goes with Theo to his studio. She admires the paintings he has done and finds one of them together. They play with the paints, and Theo moves to kiss Nan, but she pulls away. She tells him she wants to see the natural scenery he painted from horseback. Theo takes her riding, but Nan's horse loses control and nearly collides with Jay's horse. Jay gets down to help her before the horse throws her off. As soon as Nan sees Jay, she yells at him, telling him she doesn't want his help and that she can control the horse. Theo follows her immediately, and Nan is surprised to learn that Jay is Theo's friend. She fears that Jay might tell Theo about her true identity. At night, Nan gets ready for the party, with Conchita accompanying her. Suddenly, Theo's mother's assistant knocks on the door and gives Nan a necklace as a gift to wear to the party. Conchita can't believe that Theo's mother liked Nan so quickly and gave her such an expensive and old necklace. Nan is distracted and not her usual self. Richard comes to call Conchita, and he is happy to see her laughing with Nan. But as soon as Conchita opens the door and sees him, her smile fades. Richard tells her that his mother wants to have tea with her. Conchita is pleased that her plan is working and that her mother-in-law is warming up to her. She leaves, letting Nan get ready alone. Suddenly, Nan finds Jay entering her room, upset and throwing himself on the bed. Jay is surprised to find women's clothing in the room and realizes he mistakenly entered Nan's room. He is even more astonished to find her in her undergarments. He apologizes and leaves, but Nan stops him, asking if he will tell Theo what she told him about her mother. Jay responds that Theo is his oldest friend, and Nan could ruin his reputation if her secret is discovered after their marriage. He says he can't lie to Theo. Meanwhile, Conchita and Richard go to have tea with his family, but find Jenny and James there. Jenny manages to endear herself to James's mother, claiming she is different from other American girls. Conchita is annoyed and feels that Jenny is insulting her. At the same time, Jay tries to tell Theo about Nan's secret. However, he finds Theo very enamored with Nan, praising her qualities and the beautiful things about her. Jay changes his mind and remains silent. At night, Nan goes downstairs to attend the party but feels nervous. She asks about Jenny, and Maybelle tells her that the night is hers and encourages her to go in and enjoy it. Nan is encouraged and enters, where everyone welcomes her, and she feels happy. Richard comes to call Conchita to dance with him. Conchita is upset because Richard's mother is joking and laughing with Jenny, not behaving the same way with her. Conchita decides to confront her, asking why she prefers Jenny over her and accusing her of favoritism based on Jenny's blonde hair and white skin. Richard's mother insults Conchita, telling her she is just the mother of his granddaughter and the daughter of a rich man. Conchita leaves the party in tears and runs away in the rain. Meanwhile, Nan dances with Jay and asks why he left her after learning her secret. She expresses disbelief at his actions. Jay tells her he was shocked. Nan agrees he has a right to tell Theo, but is interrupted by Jenny, who asks about Richard and informs them that Conchita left the party. Nan is annoyed with Conchita for ruining the party meant for her and tells Richard that Conchita is just seeking attention. However, Richard says he is her husband and should give her the attention she wants. He leaves to find her. Richard finds Conchita standing near a cliff and apologizes to her. He admits he should have confessed that his family treats her poorly. They agree to go on a vacation to America, America, away from his family. Nan, waiting and worried for Conchita, becomes infuriated when she sees her return, laughing. Nan accuses her of being selfish and self-centered, ruining the only day everyone was interested in her. Conchita thinks Nan is overreacting and without problems. Jenny tries to tell Nan something, but Conchita accuses her of being dramatic and seeking attention, and leaves. Nan then meets Jay, who apologizes and promises not to tell Theo anything. Nan is surprised since Jay and Theo are friends. Jay says that they too are friends. Later, Nan goes to the beach with Theo and agrees to marry him. She says she needs to go to America first. Theo agrees and asks to go with her to get to know her life as she has known his. Nan agrees but is not happy. Nan returns to her room and finds Maybelle, who wishes every day could be like the time they spent in the house Conchita rented for them. Nan says she can't forget that time because it scared Jay and made him leave her. She is shocked to learn that Jay wasn't scared and came back to her the next day and saw her when Theo proposed to her. After a few days, Patty awaits the return of her daughters, Jenny and Nan. She is happy because Jenny married a lord and Nan is going to marry a duke, and she has organized a party to welcome them. Meanwhile, Jay is upset because Nan is going to marry Theo. He goes to his room, drinks heavily, and decides to send a letter to Nan confessing his love for her. Later, Jenny arrives with James and Nan with Theo. They are greeted by their father and mother. Nan is surprised to learn that her mother has organized a welcome party and apologizes to Theo, but he is understanding. Jay wakes up and is shocked to find that the letter he wrote to Nan is missing. He learns from the palace assistant that she sent the letter to America. Jay apologizes for waking her up and blames himself for his foolish action. At the party, Patty notices that Nan is different and goes to see what's wrong. Nan is with Jenny, telling her that she needs to talk to her mother before agreeing to marry Theo. Patty enters the room, and Nan confesses that she knows Patty is not her real mother and that they all lied to her. At the same time, Maybelle learns from her mother that Lizzie refuses to return to London and that she won't go back either, as people will talk about them. Lizzie accidentally bumps into James, who pretends not to know her, and Jenny plays along. James insults Lizzie for the second time. Returning to Nan, she tells her mother that she will tell Theo everything and that she won't marry someone who doesn't know her. She leaves her mother and walks away. Patty is furious upon hearing this and chases after her. She walks through the party like a madwoman, shouting at her husband and forcibly taking him to a private room in front of the guests. She tells him that Nan knows she is not her real mother and that she will tell everything to Theo. Patty blames him for ruining their lives with his affairs. Meanwhile, Conchita is enjoying herself with Richard, very happy. Richard is also pleased, feeling free in America. However, the governess Test Valley cannot bear to see them happy and warns Conchita about her daughter, saying Richard's family will not leave her alone. Conchita suggests they don't need to return to London, but Test Valley tells her that Richard won't give up his influence for the freedom he finds in America. After a few days, Maybelle pleads with Lizzie to return to London, saying she can't live with their mother. She asks if Lizzie's reluctance to return is because James chose Jenny over her. Maybelle's words upset Jenny, who accuses her of speaking without knowing anything. At the same time, the letter Jay sent reaches Nan's house. The housekeeper leaves it on the table and goes away. By chance, Theo finds the letter from Jay and is delighted, but upon reading it, he is shocked and doesn't know what to do. He goes out into the street, feeling overwhelmed. Nan, sitting in her father's office, searches for the letter Jenny mentioned, but is interrupted by her father's entry. She asks him about her mother, and he tells her that her mother died shortly after giving birth to her, and that he doesn't know her name as he wasn't very attentive to her. Nan then goes to her room, followed by her mother. Patty tells her she is unhappy with her life with their father and the lie they live in. She understands Nan's right to tell Theo the truth and assures her that she doesn't need to be her biological mother to love her and consider her as her daughter. Nan is relieved and leaves to tell Theo. When Theo sees her, he immediately takes her away from the party. Nan, frightened, asks if something happened. Theo kisses her and asks if she loves him and wants him. Nan confirms her love and tries to tell him the truth, but Theo refuses to hear it and asks her not to ruin his happiness. Meanwhile, Lizzie tries to talk to Jenny and wants to tell her about her encounter with James. However, James interrupts them and Lizzie leaves. James tells Jenny that the party her mother organized is lowly and not up to his standards. He claims his father scolded him for dancing with her and demands that Jenny make her mother apologize. Jenny is shocked but realizes he is serious. She approaches her mother in front of everyone, calling the party lowly and saying saying James deserves more respect. She asks her mother to apologize. James interrupts and thanks Patty for the party. Nan cuts in, scolding Jenny for her behavior, and announces that she will marry Duke Theo. She continues to regard her mother as a queen and hugs Patty. Encouraged by this, Patty agrees that the party is indeed lowly and admits she wasted her life worrying about what others think. She leaves the party abruptly. After the party, Conchita tells Richard she doesn't want to return to London with him and leave her daughter to his family. Richard responds that he cannot move to America, but Conchita says she has the option to stay in America or return to London and will think about it and let him know. After witnessing the events, Lizzie changes her mind and decides to return to London, which delights Maybelle, who thanks her. That night, we see Richard in Test Valley's room. He enters while she is bathing and sits beside her, leaving their relationship ambiguous. Meanwhile, Patty talks to her husband, saying she can't continue with him. He mocks her, claiming she is unimportant without him, and leaves her. Patty returns to her usual life. Later, we see Nan with Theo on their way to Jay's house. Nan expresses her desire to be in England to attend the Bonfire Night celebration, a yearly carnival-like event in Britain. She asks Theo if he used to spend the night at Jay's house every year. Theo confirms it's a grand annual party, but is surprised by the quietness and lack of celebration, wondering why no one has come to greet them yet. At that moment, Jay appears, and Nan greets him, saying they missed him. Theo tells Jay they just arrived from New York and went straight to his house. He asks why no staff welcomed them and inquires about accommodations for his staff. Jay says he will show them where to stay and leads them into the house. Inside the house, they notice the absence of staff and servants, which surprises everyone, including Nan and Theo. When James asks about the absence of servants, Jay explains that he now lives alone in the house due to renovations. Lizzie, Conchita, and Maybelle then enter, happy, and join the guests. Theo addresses everyone, saying that Bonfire Night was his mother's favorite night. She used to prepare for it months in advance, inviting hundreds of guests for a grand feast. However, he explains that this year's celebration will be more intimate and special, and everyone will participate in the preparations. Nan offers to help chop wood, but Theo is surprised, saying it's a rough task not suitable for women. He suggests the kitchen would be more fitting for her. Nonetheless, Nan insists on chopping wood, and indeed she does so with Jay, who is astonished to find she chops better than him and even teaches him how to do it efficiently and professionally. James enters the kitchen and finds his wife, Jenny, and Lizzie joking and laughing together. He asks Jenny what she's doing, and she says she's making marshmallows. James behaves rudely towards Lizzie, making her scared because he is jealous of his wife around her. He then leaves the kitchen. Meanwhile, Jay brings in the wood he and Nan chopped and finds Jane has arrived, having entered through an open door. Theo greets Jane when he notices her arrival, takes her bag, and follows Jay away from Jane. Jay reproaches Theo for inviting her without consulting him. Theo explains that he invited her for a chance to get to know her as she comes from a good family. He takes her bag to show her to her room, feeling trapped as Jane tries to get closer to him. They prepare the effigy for the celebration. Jenny asks why they celebrate such an occasion despite the English Parliament being blown up. Theo corrects her, saying the Parliament was not blown up. Nan changes the subject, noting Jane's discomfort and blaming Theo for inviting her without Jay's consent. Theo explains he invited her to help Jane get closer to Jay. Nan is surprised by Theo's reasoning, but he believes he did the right thing, wanting to see Jay happy and possibly helping Jane in the process. Richard meets Conchita on the stairs and tells her he lied to people, saying she took their daughter Minnie for a vacation in the countryside, which is better than saying she left home. Conchita respects him and welcomes him anytime, showing a friendly relationship despite being separated. Meanwhile, Theo enters the kitchen and sits with Lizzie on the floor. He disagrees with her, saying that being full is the most important thing in life, arguing that love is more important. Lizzie believes he says that because he's always been well off. She tells him about a man in New York who let her down and how she's happier now that she stopped chasing marriage and focuses on food and sweets. She's convinced the man must feel shame and guilt for his actions. They start the maze game. Jay tells his guests they must find the torch in the maze, and the first person to find it will light the effigy. Everyone enters the maze, excited to find the torch. Inside the maze, Nan talks to Theo and expresses her disbelief in his plan to marry Jane. Theo is surprised and tells her he doesn't want to marry Jane. He mentions a letter he sent her in New York explaining everything, but Nan says she didn't receive any letters from him. He leaves her and walks away. Nan meets Conchita and tells her about the letter Jay mentioned. She's curious about its contents. Conchita suggests it might be a love confession, but Nan doubts it, saying she and Jay are just friends. Conchita tells her that love involves both agreement and disagreement. Nan decides to find Jay and ask him about the letter. She finds him in the house and confronts him about sending her telegrams while being close to her fiancé. She reminds him that he once left her, but he points out that he came back and apologized. However, when he returned, she was already engaged to Theo. Jay recalls the good times they had together, but when Nan gets close, he rejects her. Theo arrives and Jay lies about showing Nan the garden. Theo is skeptical and remains upset until they play cards later, where Theo talks about quick winnings, reminding Jay of his dreams of marrying rich in New York. Jay is upset and leaves the game. At night, Theo is the one who finds the torch and lights the straw effigy. Theo discovers that Jay has sold everything, even his mother's paintings. Theo offers to help, but Jay refuses, saying he can't keep taking help from him. On Christmas Day, Theo and Richard are seen playing a snowball fight with the girls, clearly enjoying the happiness evident among them all. The only one in the group who is sad is Jenny, who is seen sitting in the bathtub with her husband, James. He tells her that he wants to spend Christmas with her, not with her friends. Jenny reluctantly agrees. Later, Nan encounters Jay in the library. He tries to talk to her again about his feelings for her, but she tells him she has decided to marry Theo. Jay stands in front of a globe and tells her that he once dreamed of traveling the world before meeting her and of marrying a rich girl to solve his financial problems. However, he changed his view on life after meeting Nan, realizing that love is more important than money. Nan asks Jay about the telegram he sent her, which she didn't receive, wanting to know what he wrote. Jay refuses to tell her and advises her to enjoy her time with her fiancé, Theo. Nan also wishes him a happy life with Jane. The next day, Nan visits Theo's mother to wish her a Merry Christmas. However, she is shocked when Theo's mother tells her she knows Nan was the result of her father's infidelity. She asks Nan to pack her things and leave, as her marriage to Theo has become impossible. When Nan tries to find out who revealed her secret, she learns that Jenny was responsible. Nan tells her she will never forgive her and decides to confess her secret to everyone. She reveals she was born as a result of her father's affair. To everyone's surprise, Theo declares his commitment and love for Nan, telling her that none of us can choose our circumstances. After the official announcement of their wedding date, Nan hears people gossiping about her at the New Year's Eve party. They refer to her as a foundling and lament that Theo is marrying her, believing he deserves a woman from a well-known family with a good social standing. Nan becomes upset when the comments become too much to bear and tells Theo she's going to find her friends to continue the night with them. Jay notices what's happening and tries to console his friend Theo. Theo expresses his wish that society would treat Nan better. Jay reassures him that he compensates for people's harsh words with his love for Nan, but Theo can't stand hearing this and goes looking for Nan. Meanwhile, Nan stands alone, away from the crowd. When Theo approaches, she tells him that people treat her like a stray dog he took pity on. Theo assures her that in a week, when she officially becomes his wife, she will be a duchess with a respected position in society. Nan responds that the respect will be for his sake, not hers. She wants people to forget she's a foundling and respect her for who she is. Theo tries to explain that earning respect takes effort and reminds her he always does what people expect to gain their respect. He reassures her that her background doesn't matter to him. It's her character that counts. However, Nan remains upset and leaves to cry alone in the bathroom. Lizzie and Conchita find out Nan is crying in the bathroom and go to comfort her. They manage to make her laugh and they take her back to the party. At the party, they are surprised to see Jenny with her husband, James. Nan refuses to greet them and walks away from them. Patty, who raised Nan, arrives with her daughter, Jenny. Richard's mother welcomes Patty to the party and apologizes for the hurtful comments about Nan, reassuring her that Nan will soon be a duchess with her own standing. At that moment, Theo appears and asks Patty to dance with him. He tells her he loves Nan very much and will protect and shield her from people's words. Patty responds that she couldn't ask for more. Richard's mother notices Theo's absence from the party and goes to his room, where she finds him sad and wanting to share a troubling secret. He reveals he had a relationship with Testifoli when he was a teenager. His mother says she knew about it and had sent her away to prevent any scandal that could destroy his and the family's reputation. She advises him to be a man, take responsibility, and maintain the family's honor. Patty, meanwhile, confronts her husband, feeling he has always made her feel worthless. She plans to divorce him after Nan's wedding to Theo, believing she will then be a duchess. Theo takes Jay aside side and asks him to stay away from Nan, revealing he intercepted the telegram Jay sent confessing his love for Nan. He advises Jay to respect their friendship and keep his distance from Nan, who will soon be his wife. Jay insists he and Nan are just friends, but Theo doesn't believe him, and they argue. The argument continues until they return to the party, where everyone sees Theo confronting Jay over Nan. Nan takes them aside to find out what happened. Jay tells her Theo intercepted his telegram and reveals its contents. Nan is torn between them and unable to choose. Meanwhile, Jenny decides to leave James and makes a quick escape in a car, asking the driver to speed away from the mansion. Nan returns to sit with Jay, who tells her he's decided to marry Jane and is leaving to meet her. With Jay out of the picture, Nan is left to choose Theo again. James notices Jenny's absence and frantically searches for her, but she suddenly reappears, claiming to have been watching fireworks outside. Before leaving, Jay sits down with Theo and they reconcile. Jay asks Theo to take care of Nan and keep her safe. A few days later, Theo's mother speaks with Nan, giving her a tiara and saying she had been waiting for the day she could give it to the wife of her son. She advises Nan to stand by Theo and be up to the responsibility, not to get nervous, and to make him proud at their wedding. Nan meets Theo in the church, and he asks her if she still harbors any feelings for his friend, Jay. He reminds her that their wedding is in a few days and that she needs to be sure about accepting him as her husband for life. Theo advises her to reconsider marrying him if she's unsure, as he loves her and doesn't want to marry her if she has feelings for another man. Richard tells his mother that he's going to separate from the family and live independently with his wife Conchita and their daughter Minnie. His mother is upset by this news. Richard takes Conchita to their room, where she finds a letter from her father informing them that they've lost all their money and business. Conchita tells Richard the sad news, but he reassures her that he wants nothing from the world but her, and they'll start anew without money or pressures from anyone. Meanwhile, James is with his wife Jenny and becomes suspicious of her behavior. He demands that she not hide anything from him and slaps her in the face. Nan spends her last days of singlehood in her room, but is surprised when Jay returns, entering through the window, and tells her he's called off his engagement with Jane. Jay confesses he still loves Nan passionately and wants to tell the world about his love for her. He flirts with her, and she's drawn to him, but she remembers Theo and questions what she'll do about him. Jay admits he loves Theo and wants him to be happy, but his desire for Nan is stronger than anything else. Jay proposes that Nan run away with him instead of marrying Theo, promising to travel the world to places they dreamed of visiting together. Nan agrees to the idea of eloping. Meanwhile, Theo is unaware of Nan's betrayal and stands on his balcony, drinking and contemplating his new life. Jenny knocks on Nan's door, and Jay hides. When Jenny enters, she confides in Nan that James hit her because he wants her to be perfect and gets angry over small things. Nan suggests Jenny talk to her mother, but Jenny refuses, believing her mother won't support her. Jenny then notices Jay's presence, but Nan reassures her and promises to keep it a secret. As they leave the house, James sees them but not Jay, who manages to hide. Nan tells James she was showing Jenny the church, and he takes Jenny back home, believing she'll be better off with him. Nan takes Jay back into the house. The next day, Richard's father explains to him about his critical health condition. He tells Richard that the doctors have informed him that his health is deteriorating and that he only has a few weeks to live. He asks Richard to prepare to take over all his properties and be responsible for his mother and sister. At the same time, James apologizes to Jenny for hitting her the previous night and offers her a gift to seek her forgiveness. As people gather in the church, Nan is delayed because she is with her sister Jenny, helping her escape from her abusive husband, James. Nan successfully helps Jenny escape with Jay, who pleads with Nan to also run away with him. However, Nan refuses and chooses to stay and marry Theo, preferring to become a duchess with significant future power and status over eloping with Jay, who is impoverished and has an uncertain future. Nan confidently enters the church and marries Theo, transforming from a girl of questionable parentage to a duchess with a high social standing.